Hey guys, so I'm back for another video. This one is not Christmas related at all, but it is another tag, so they're sort of related, but not really. But anyway, today I am going to be doing the Reader Problems book tag. I saw this on YouTube when Ben of Tomes did it, and I was like, I want to try this. And it's good because I can relate to a lot of the things on this list, so I'm very, very excited to do this tag. Again, I have to look down because there's a lot of questions in this thing and they're really big and I'd have trouble. Question 1. You have 20,000 books on your TBR. How in the world do you decide what to read next? Well, I mean, I legit do have 20,000. Like, can you see that? That whole shelf right there, that is everything. There's probably 100 books there that I have to read. So I definitely get the 20,000 books on TBR. I definitely get that with having a gazillion books on your TBR. The way that I generally pick books is if I'm, say, reading, like, I'll pick a series and I'll read that whole thing, or I'll just pick a book that seems interesting to me or stuff like that. One thing I would like to say is a lot of people do have, you know, the TBR, they do their TBRs for the next month and they map out what they're going to read. I can't do that because I guarantee I would change my mind and I'll be like, even though I wanted to read this and I said I'd read this, I'm going to change everything. So I change my mind too much. But also, I would feel like, I'd feel more like I'd have to finish these books. Like if I gave myself 8 I wanted to read, I'd feel like I'd have to read them and then I'd start panicking because I haven't read them and it'd start freaking me out. But generally I just pick for whatever, like I have a little pile here of books that I read and it's the one that I'm currently reading, which is 1,000 Skies Above You. So this is my current book and I normally pile them like this of what I want to read, and this one's on the bottom, so I don't know what I'm going to read next. Okay, number 2. You're halfway through a book and you're just not loving it. Do you quit it or are you committed? Well, I hate this, but I am committed to everything. I don't think I've ever not finished reading something, and it gets really bad sometimes because what happens is if I start hating it, I start slowing down in my reading and it will take me a month. So that's sort of how reading slumps might happen for me, is I'll be reading but it won't be reading anything else because I feel committed to finishing this book and I won't start a new one, and then I'm just like, I hate this. But most of the time I do like the books that I'm reading, so I don't have this issue too much. But yes, I am a committed reader and it's like, what's the point? Like, I bought it, so I might as well read it instead of having my money wasted on something I only read 200 pages of. Okay, question number 3. The end of the year is coming and you're so close but so far away from your Goodreads reading challenge. Do you try and catch up, and how? Well, of course I'm going to try and catch up because I am a very competitive person and I will compete against myself to finish this challenge. Like, oh, I'm so glad I finished this year's challenge because I gave myself a challenge of reading 60 books and now I'm on to 61. This whole month from the beginning I was thinking, oh, I gotta read like 8 more books, but I happily got it done quite early in the month. So I'm very happy about it. But yeah, I would probably just sit down and start reading things, read short books, see if there's a readathon going on that I can get into, or I would just sit there and start reading. Like, if I still had 8 books on the last day of the year, I would just try and sit there and read and get as close to it as I can. But yes, and this is the first year I've done the Goodreads challenge because I hadn't really used Goodreads before until after I started BookTube, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I like this. So yes, but at first my challenge was 20, but I had already read about 40 books, but I'd wrote the number wrong. But then I changed it to 50, and then after I got to that I changed it to 60 because I was like, I still have enough time to read another 10 books. But yes, I'm really happy that I've gotten to my challenge, so it's like a yes. Question number 4. The covers of a series you love do not match. How do you cope? Well, I don't cope. I don't. I don't like it when covers are different. I mean, it's okay if you do different covers, but you keep, like, you know, there's 2 different covers for the whole series, but when you've read a book, you got it, you committed to it, and then the next one published only has the 1 cover and it's not the same. It's like, why? Like, I mean, I bet a lot of people would have been annoyed with Throne of Glass, how it was that first cover and then it got changed to the pretty covers. I started the series a lot later, so I got all the pretty covers, but there's a lot of different things that annoy me. But actually, besides covers, one thing that really annoys me. For example, this is the 3rd book in the Bloodline series, Indigo Spell, and then this is the 4th one. It's like, what the hell? Why are they? There's this, oh, I just put lipstick on it. This is my biggest trouble. See that? Do you see that? There's lipstick all over it. I'm horrible. But this is my biggest problem. It's like, what the hell? It's okay if this was the first one and then it went bigger. I don't mind the size going from like if the first 3 were small, I would have been okay with that, and then it went big. But the first 3 are big and then they go small. So I hate it, because it's like, why is there a size difference? You know, the cover change I'm not too pissed about, because this is House of Night and then they go to these coloured covers. And because the people still kind of look similar, I don't mind it, but yes. Question number 5. Everyone and their mother loves a book you don't really like. Who do you bond with over shared feelings? Well, generally I like most books that I read, but if there's a book that I really don't like, I feel bad about saying, like, I don't like really hate on it, like say on Goodreads or here. I don't hate on books as too much. Like, I kind of do a brief version of how I really feel, but if, say I found, like, on Goodreads, if I said something like, said how I felt about a book and someone commented on me and told me that how they felt, I would talk to that person, but I generally don't need to talk to anyone about how bad I feel. It's just if I see someone else that's felt bad, feels the same way about me about a book, then I'll be like, okay, I'm not the only one. That's my biggest issue, is if I'm the only one that hates something, and I'm like, what's wrong with me? Okay, question number 6. You're reading a book and you're about to start crying in public. How do you deal? Oh, well, the thing is, I don't cry in books in general. I don't cry if I'm home alone and there's no one in the house. I don't cry if there's people around me. I just don't cry in books, and I don't know what it is. So many people think that's weird that I don't cry in books, but it's just I'm a very visual crier. So if I see it, so book adaptations, book to movie adaptations, I bawl in most of them, because I'm just, if I see it, it just makes me cry. But I don't cry from things like from imagination. That's probably more it. So I wouldn't cry. I'd just be there like, oh, that's really sad, but I wouldn't start bawling because I don't have eye sockets. I don't have tears in my eyes ever. Number 7, a sequel of a book you loved just came out, but you've forgotten a lot about the prior novel. Will you reread the book? I probably wouldn't reread the book, but I'm bad. I probably would just end up not buying the sequel and just leaving with the first book. But if it was something that I knew I really liked but I couldn't remember it, I would go on Goodreads and try and find out about it again. I might look at the last 50 pages of the book, but generally with authors, they will, in the first chapter, they will kind of retell you what happened in the first book briefly, so you kind of like, oh yeah, so that happened and that happened, okay, I'm good to keep going with the next one. So that's generally, I don't have enough time to reread books at the moment. Question number 8, you do not want anyone, and I mean anyone, borrowing your books. How do you politely tell people no when they ask? Well, I do let people borrow my books sometimes, but I have to know that they won't break them in any way. Like, I feel like I have trouble giving people my books, and I might say an excuse about how, oh, I had a bad experience about it once and I haven't been able to do it again. So I try and be polite about it, but if they keep asking me, I just straight up go, no, you are not getting my book, go away, leave me alone. I'm never giving you my book. But yes, I do let some people borrow books, but I wouldn't let someone borrow a book I know would just like rip it or get food on it or stuff. Like my dad, my own dad, who is like in the other room, he borrows my books and then he'll borrow a book to read and then he'll come back and it's got food on it, and I'm just like, I understand you can't do that, but because we're family, he just keeps borrowing them again and again. So there's quite a few of my books that have bits of leftover food on them that I've tried to wipe off, but I can't do that much. But yes, if someone asks me to borrow their books and I try and tell them no politely and then they keep coming at me, I'm just like, get away from me. Okay, reading ADD. You've picked up and put down 5 books in the last month. How do you get over your reading slump? Well, I don't really have an issue with this because I will just keep reading the first one I picked up. I think it's more of a like, I'll grab 2 books and I'll be like, do I want to read this one or do I want to read this one? And then I'll just pick. That's about the most that I do. But if I started reading this one, I would finish this one and then get to this one. Okay, question number 10. There are so many new books coming out that you're dying to read. How many do you actually buy? Well, I buy all of them. All of them. I'm kidding. I don't really, but if it's something I really want to read, I will just get it and read it and be excited about it. That's why I have such a problem, because I keep buying new things or series that I didn't know about before and now I do, and it's like, but I very rarely don't buy a book unless I think I won't want this much as a different one. But yes, I generally just buy them, or I ask for them for birthday and Christmas, and then I'll be like, I got all the books. Question number 11. After you've bought the new books you can't wait to get, how long do they sit on your shelf before you get to them? Well, just saying, I've had a few book hauls where I've bought books that still haven't been read. So, I don't know, I'll buy all the books and it's great to have them in my hand, but then I have to actually get through reading them. So some of them are only there for a week since I bought them, some of them are there for a year. But I do know they're there, so I will eventually get to reading them. Yes. The TBR shelf, you saw that this whole thing is about so many books, but I will get to them, hopefully. So guys, that's my Reader's Problems book tag. I hope you had fun watching me rant about my problems in reading, and I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you later.